people of Israel was that's what they were. They were doing godless recklessness. They were acting as godless people. They were being so reckless with their lives. They thought they were doing good, yet they were throwing away everything that God has given them. By going to these Baals, by going to these false idols. And so the judgment here, he says, I will put a stop to that. I will break the bow of Israel. He says they will quit doing that. And I just look at us. We do that every day, don't we? We put God to the shelf and we say, hey, I'm going to do what I do. And if we don't stop, I honestly believe there will be judgment. The second and third child, this was interesting to me. Only the first child, Jezreel, was named to be conceived of Hosea. If you look, it says, and he bore him a son, and she bore him a son. But if you look at verses 6 and 9, it doesn't mention of Hosea at all. It just says, then she conceived again and gave birth to a daughter. And then verse 9, and the Lord, in verse 8, and she weaned Lo-Ruhamah, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. A lot of scholars believe that while she was married with this prophet, she was still unfaithful. She was still doing whatever she wanted to do, being reckless with her life. After having and bearing her son Jezreel, she was still just doing whatever she wanted. Going back to the brothel and offering herself. But their names, the second two children, are just as harsh. The daughter's name is Lo-Ruhamah, which literally means no pity, no compassion. Meaning that God will withdraw the pity and the compassion that he has been offering to Israel. He will withdraw that. And the other son, Lo-Amai, which means not my people. These were God's people, and he's going to say, you know what? You are no longer my people. He's going to withdraw his pity. He's going to break Israel, and he's going to say, you're not my people. Now that is judgment. And we saw that happen in 722 BC. When Samaria was destroyed. But I like how the chapters here, they never end in a bad note. Because even in chapter 1, there's a glimpse of hope. So I'm going to read out to you verse 10, 11, and chapter 2, verse 1. It says, yet the number of the sons of Israel will be like the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place where it is said to them, you are not my people, it would be said to them, you are the sons of the living God. And the sons of Judah and the sons of Israel will be gathered together, and they will appoint for themselves one leader. They will go up from the land, for great will be the day of Jezreel. Say to your brothers, Ami, and to your sister, Ruhamah, which means obtained mercy, obtained pity, obtained compassion. And Amah, meaning my people. He's going to claim them once again. But you understand the darkness that was going on? And yet here's God offering them hope at the end of that chapter. That's amazing to me. Chapter 2, I'm going to summarize it by just reading 3 verses. I'm not going to focus on 4 through 23 just yet. I'm just going to focus on the first part of chapter 2. And basically what God is doing, what Hosea is doing is pronouncing condemnation. He's pronouncing judgment. Saying why? Because of the way she acted. And so I'm going to summarize it in verse 5, verse 8, and verse 13. And it says, for their mother has played the harlot, she who conceived them has acted shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers, who give me my bread and my water, my wool and my flax, my oil and my drink. Verse 8, for she does not know that it was I who gave her the grain, the new wine, and the oil, and lavished on her silver and gold, which they use for Baal. Verse 13, I will punish her for the days of the Baals, when she used to offer them sacrifices to them, and adorn herself with her earrings and jewelry, and follow her lovers, so that she forgot me, declares the Lord. Israel totally forgot about her, totally forgot about God.